Hey, Ellie here, and welcome back to Discovering Oddworld Soulstorm Outbound. Last one was Necrom, which was an awfully long video. But now we're on to a less long video, which is Fico Depot. And I've been looking forward to Fico Depot because it's quite an ambitious looking place. So without further ado, let's get started. The first obvious thing I want to do is take the camera all the way back so that I have a very good look of the entire level. And here's how the entire Fico Depot looks like. And taking the camera all the way up, all we see is a yellowish sky. That's literally it. Because how disorienting this place is, I was not really sure where exactly I should start. So I thought the first thing that I always do is to check where the railway line comes from, and the same thing with these train that passes by all the time. And we're reaching all the way to the end, we see a black wall. When passing by, we see the train just spawning out of nowhere. Or if I should know better from my previous experience, they're not actually spawning, but are rather teleporting back to their starting position. And taking the camera all the way to the other side of Fico Depot, we see a white wall instead. And we also see the train clipping through, and then they just teleport back to the starting position. Same thing with those train that drives the other side and then teleport back here as its starting position. One thing that was also curious about is to know exactly about these line of crates that is going through here. Taking the camera inside here, we can see that these crates that are going upwards are actually continuing through the line. So it's not some kind of illusion where it looks like it's the same crate that is going through the line, but it's just disappeared and another type of crate shows up. No, it's actually the same one, which surprised me for sure. But if we take the camera at the end of the line, we see the crates disappearing, or rather likely teleporting back to the starting position, thus giving this endless animation loop. While I was looking around, I also discovered this type of art on the wall that looks like a Mudakin without a head, because I noticed this is a Mudakin head for sure. Then I saw the arm, the body, and the leg. Somehow the head is not there for some reason. And the thing is, you can actually see this from the player's perspective. So I was just wondering, how come I've never noticed this myself when I went through this area plenty of times? Taking the camera to this slick here that we normally can't reach ourselves, we see that he has a bunch of security cameras of Fico Depot all around the place, and I seem to recognize plenty of them for sure. But I am 100% certain that these are not actual cameras that is recording the place, but are rather some fake sprites, just to make it look like as if they are real cameras. To prove this to myself and to you, I let Abe stand here. I took the camera over here, and we can see that Abe is not seen on the camera at all. So yeah, these are certainly not actual camera. But enough of that, we also see this really nice logo saying Ministry of Security Incorporated Safety Service, which looks so cool. And I thought, this is such a shame we can't see this ourselves. Same thing goes with the Slicks here. They also have some security cameras, but the screens are smaller. And they seem to have the same cameras as the previous one. When investigating this area, I found out that these two lamps here are just floating in the air. Which is weird because when you look at this lamp here, it is actually hanging on to these pipes. So I was wondering why not these as well. But I assumed that probably the developers wanted to position them exactly these locations, and they couldn't really find an appropriate place to logically let them hang on to something. Going in further upwards, we see some more lamps with even higher lines, and they are actually attached to a platform. With the exception of these two as well. And this one with an awfully long line as well. Taking a closer look at these sleeves with the laser sensor, I realized that they don't have an animation where they are turning around themselves. It's just the character model themselves that is statically rotating. Huh. How come I've never noticed this myself throughout my entire out-of-bound discovery with Soulstorm? And that's all I could find in Fikudipu. Yeah, seriously. There wasn't really a lot of interesting stuff to see out of bound, since you literally walk around in Fikudipu from all angles. Up next is the yard. The first thing I want to see is where Abe exactly comes from when he starts. And when we take the camera out of bound, we see that he just teleports there, making it look like as if he jumped out of the train, with which he did not. And the first thing I wanted to do after that is to take the camera all the way up and to get a better look at the entire level. And the level looks awfully large, as I was expected. And wherever I looked, there's containers everywhere, such as this nice stacked pile of containers. And even here as well. Then I saw this railway line, and I wanted to follow it, and to no surprise, it already ended here. But then I wanted to go back and see what's inside Fikudipu, and there's nothing. Yeah, seriously, there's nothing inside Fikudipu. But then I noticed that the train that Abe just jumped on is still here. Somehow, it's just standing still out of the camera angle. And I didn't really understand, because when following that railway line, which is kind of broken, it doesn't seem to follow it at all and disappear, which is weird. Like, why would it just stay there? But seriously, wherever I looked, there's only containers. Like, I was trying to see if I could find something else interesting than containers. When moving around a bit, I saw this platform here that is moving along a railway line, and I thought I wanted to follow along with it and see what exactly happens when it reaches the end of the railway line. When reaching the end of the line, I expected it to disappear and teleport back to the starting position, but to my surprise, it did not. Apparently it stopped for a few seconds and started to slowly move back again of the line. So that's literally how this platform is moving. When taking the camera all the way to the package with the antidote, I noticed that the container is rotated wrongly. compared to an ape who goes there by himself. And I assume this was done so that when you start the game for the first time, you see the banner that says Ape's Package perfectly until when you go there by yourself, the container is rotated correctly. But aside from that, I obviously wanted to do the usual thing and see where these containers that are moving along these lines are going and disappearing. And when following these containers, we see that they immediately teleport back to starting position before even reaching the end of the line. When going to the starting position, it's pretty much the same thing. So, yeah, that's all I had for today. Yeah, seriously, like, Fiku and the yard was kinda disappointing, as both of these levels are levels where you basically walk around from all angles and you see pretty much everything, so there wasn't a lot of interesting stuff to see out of bound. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.